How you doing? Connecting the Dots with Cyril, my YouTube station. And I'm Cyril Scovins. Hey, listen, we're going to connect the dot that I think is real important. I think people need to hear. There's been a big discussion going on during the pandemic about churches having to close, movie theaters closing, restaurants closing, and why are liquor stores allowed to be open, and why are they considered essential? So I want to get to that. I want to let you see why it's essential and what the difference is and why we have to look at this in a different way. So the first thing we need to do is understand that Americans love to drink. Love to drink. Matter of fact, people all over the world love to drink, but we're only talking about America. So Americans love to drink. So here's a statistic. It says that 32 million, listen to what I'm going to tell you, 32 million, America has a drinking problem and it's getting worse. And this new study shows that 32 million Americans, nearly 1 in 7 adults, have struggled with a serious alcohol problem in the last year alone. 32 million. That's 30% of Americans have had an alcohol use disorder, right? So what does that mean in a pandemic and why? So one of the things that it means is a pandemic means we're preparing the hospitals for a surge of people who are going to be infected with this disease, COVID-19, right? And so as we're preparing for that disease, here's some of the reasons that we have to keep the liquor stores open so that we can prevent some other stuff from happening. So one of the things that happens with people who drink, and who drink a lot, and who've been drinking a long time, is they can go into what's called alcohol withdrawal symptoms, right? And so what alcohol withdrawal means, and this is real simple, and I'm going to cut to the chase, but I'm going to give you something, but I'm going to cut to the chase with it. So here's what that would mean. If you picked up 4 alcoholics, right, and you put them in the drunk tank and you did on Friday, and you didn't come back to check on them until Monday, one of them would be dead. When you get back Monday, no matter what time you get back, one of them would be dead. That's how severe alcohol withdrawal is. So it says that alcohol withdrawal can range from mild to severe, depending on how much you drink, how long you've been drinking, and what you drink, right? So a beer drinker who drinks a 6-pack of beer will experience the same withdrawal symptoms if they drink the same amount of beer over the same period of time as a person who drinks hard liquor. Because the body doesn't matter, the homeostasis doesn't matter what the alcohol is. It's just that it needs the same amount of alcohol for the body to function. And if it's not getting the same amount of alcohol, then the body won't function and just shut down. So some of the initial symptoms that you would see if they were to shut the bars down today, if they were in the pandemic, if they were to say, okay, all bars are shut off, then you will begin to see 30 million people, 30 million Americans walking around experiencing tremors, trouble sleeping, insomnia, nausea and vomiting, feeling on edge or restless, anxiety, headaches, and sweating. 30 million off the top is going to start experiencing that at some point when the bars shut down, right? Now, it gets real tricky with that. So if they stay, and so this can start happening, listen to what I'm going to tell you, America, this can start happening within 3 days of them not getting a drink. For some of them, within 1 hour of them not getting a drink. They go into the DTs, the delirium tremors, right? And the delirium tremors is the most serious symptom of alcohol withdrawal. So watch this, and can lead to death. So they'll begin to feel disoriented, confused. They'll have hallucinations. They'll have a rapid heartbeat. They'll have increased breathing rates. They'll have high blood pressure, hypertension, low-grade fever, profuse sweating, feeling agitated. They'll go into a stupor, right? And then they'll lose consciousness. Can we afford, in the middle of a pandemic, where we're rationing up to try to save lives? We already lost over 100,000 lives in America right now from the pandemic, from the coronavirus. And if we were to shut the bars down, then that would send another 30 million Americans into mild DTs, withdrawal symptoms, and then they'll turn severe. So that means we will flood the hospitals with people in alcohol withdrawal symptoms and severe DTs. That's why the bar's open. Because guess what I ain't never heard? Watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. I ain't never heard of a person going into DTs or experiencing withdrawal symptoms when they don't go to church. They experience sadness because the church is a nice place to be, and it's where you want to be. You be with the people who think like you, believe like you, who worship like you, and you want to be there with that interactive and that closeness. But you ain't going to die if you don't go to church. Physically, your body. So let me tell you about alcohol and withdrawals. So when a person doesn't get the drink that they need, because it's called homeostasis. So the alcohol doesn't get the person drunk, it gets the person where they can function at homeostasis, right? And so when homeostasis, he might need a 6-pack to maintain homeostasis. He might need 2 6-packs if he continues to drink. He might need 3 6-packs if he continues to drink just to be normal. And the minute he doesn't get the 3 6-packs, he immediately goes into withdrawal symptoms. And the withdrawal symptoms could go from mild to severe in a matter of hours. So not only will we have people with COVID dying in the hospitals and in the streets, we would have 30 million American alcoholics walking around dropping dead in the streets. And the ambulance would be overwhelmed with trying to pick them up along with the COVID people. And then the hospitals would be flooded with 30 million people, Americans, dying from alcohol, from a lack of alcohol, from not getting alcohol, right? This is a time for prayer. This is a time for healing. This is the time to find my God. You find your God. You know, and we pray to that God we believe in. But this is not the time to shut the bars down and cause 30 million Americans to go into the withdrawals from alcohol and potentially die in the streets, in pain, in misery, screaming, bleeding, begging for a drink. Imagine that going on with the COVID virus going on, and then 30 million Americans dying in the street because they need a drink. Not that they want to drink. So you don't get this confused. Because at homeostasis, which means if I do anything long enough, chemically, physically, my body, my cells, my body needs that to function. So a person who drinks, and depending on what they drink, their body requires that amount of alcohol just for them to breathe and function normally. And when they miss 2 ounces of what it takes for the homeostasis. So what they drinking in the beginning is just enough for them to survive, for them to live, for them to think, for them to walk. Then they need another little bit to make them drunk, right? So if I've been drinking for 30 years and I'm up to drinking now, I need 2 half gallons of vodka to feel normal, just to get up and function, just to cook breakfast, just to put my shoes on. I need 2 gallons of vodka to do everyday things. And then I need a half a pint to get drunk. And you will be thinking, well, don't the two gallons get him drunk? No, the 2 gallons get him normal. It's the half a pint that gets him drunk. And here's the craziest thing about this, so you understand this, America, when you're wondering why the bars are still open, why they're essential. Because if he drinks the 2 gallons in a pint long enough, The pint won't get him drunk anymore. The 2 gallons in the pint won't get him drunk anymore. He'll need to get 2 gallons and a pint and a half. And then it's the half that gets him drunk. And then if he drinks that long enough, then homeostasis sets in, and that becomes his normal, and his body needs that just to maintain itself. And then if he doesn't get that extra one, he won't. You follow where I'm going with this? So if we shut the bars tomorrow, 30 million Americans would die. And check this one out. Let's connect some dots. And some of them are your church brothers and sisters who drink on the side. You know them. You see them in church. You're like, there you go. They go, old Rufus. Saw him 2 days ago, drunk. But he used to come to church every Sunday. But guess what would happen if Rufus can't get that drink? You won't see Rufus in church on Sunday. Rufus is going to be dead from withdrawal symptoms, from alcohol withdrawal. And it's a painful, brutal, unnecessary death. And it would tax our medical system even more to have them fighting COVID at this level and then have to what? Save lives of people who can't get a drink because the bars are closed, and then you got 30 million Americans going into withdrawals. That's the difference. Because I'm serious. I've never seen, never, ever, ever, ever have I seen someone go into withdrawals, physical withdrawals, and die from not going to church. And die from not going to the synagogue. And die from not going to the mosque. No, never. Never. But in my 10 years of working in this field, you know, and in my 59 years of, you know, living with this disease, you know, 34 active, 25 in recovery, you don't want to see what would happen if they close the bars. So please, the next time that comes to your mind, right, America, the next time, America, that comes to your mind, apples and oranges. Apples and oranges. Right? Mr. Rufus, who comes to church, but you see him drunk 4 or 5 days out the week, but he still comes to church on Sunday. If you close the bars, all of the Rufuses and all of the Miss Sadies will be dead. Or at the hospital, at the very least, needing a ventilator to save their life, because now their body has shut down and begun to shut down because it needs alcohol. So let me explain that to you. So the body, the mind, the computer needs alcohol. And so what it will do is systematically try to find alcohol in every place in the human body. So the first place it tries to find alcohol at is in the toes, the extremities, the fingers. And it tries to take all the alcohol it can expel from that. And then it moves on up. And it takes it from all the muscles, right? And then it takes, because it's looking for alcohol, and it will take the vapors. And so when you're talking about dying from alcohol and withdrawals and DTs and delirium tremors, and that, we're talking about the body systematically being deprived because it's trying to find alcohol to survive. You ain't seen nothing like that. COVID is one thing, but that's another. And we sure can't have two going on at the same time. We can't have COVID and withdrawals happening at the same time in America. Or it would overtax the system, and it would crash our hospitals, and it would crash our ambulance. It would crash the system. So that's why bars are essential during the pandemic. Because it's actually, crazy as it sounds, saving lives. Saving lives. 30 million Americans last year, 2019, had an alcohol use disorder, right? From mild to severe. And if they can't get alcohol over a certain period of time to maintain their homeostasis, to maintain their heartbeat, to maintain their heart rhythm, to maintain their breathing, to maintain the way that they can get up, to maintain their life, they'll crash in the streets, overtax the system, and die. So we'll have 30 million people dying in the streets from alcohol withdrawal, along with another 100,000 dying from COVID. Come on, connect the dots, people. It's about saving lives. Pray in your house. Pray in your house. God hears you, right? Pray from your soul. God hears you, right? We gotta drop the curve, but we can't kill other people while we're doing that. Hey, guess what? You just had another lesson in connecting the dots with Cyril. See you the next time. Peace out.